Hi, my name is Nancy Love, and this is Micro Peace tutorial for the Planet Peace Project. This, as always, is the heart that I wear to remind me of my cats. Um, I made several videos last year and the year before that seemed to be more helpful and meaningful than some others, and some of those were made as live Facebook videos that have sort of disappeared in my uh, account stream, and they're hard to find now. So I'm going to recap in the next video some of the information that I put forth that people tell me has been really meaningful. One was about how I overcame jealousy when I was only 8 years old, and that is quite an achievement considering how many people live way on deep into their lives compelled and controlled by jealousy. It really is a form of stupidity, but it's understandable because our popular media culture tries to make us jealous of everyone else. Our culture itself tries to make us competitive, jealous, and therefore stupid. When I was a kid, I was 8, I was in third grade, and I noticed that I had a really negative reaction to one 16-year-old girl who was very pretty and very friendly and very well liked, and um, she was just everything that young women of that generation wanted to be. And she looked like Gidget. I mean, she looked like Sally Field. Who could not want to be that? So, um, The Flying Nun was one of my favorite shows, and there was the Flying Nun in high school. But I was in elementary school, and I would watch her from afar because it was a small town, and the elementary school kids got to know the high school kids and junior high school kids as well. And I realized that I sort of kind of hated her. And but when I thought of the things that I hated about her was that she was well liked, pretty, popular, friendly, outgoing, and I thought, well, all those were good things. What does that say about me? That I consider myself this little philosopher. I'd read from all the world's religions. I'd read from secular philosophies already by the time I was 8 years old, and I thought, that's not wise. It's not wise to hate someone for good qualities. And so I got a piece of paper and I made a list. And I suggest you do the same if there are people that you are jealous of. So I started making a list of the things she had that I wanted, and how could I get as much of those qualities without taking anything from her, because I was not empowered to take anything from her, nor would I want to have taken anything from her. So it was things like I started out, she's short. I was already tall. I was already taller than most of the kids in my class. So I was just out of luck from that first thing on the list. I couldn't be short, but she dressed in a very feminine fashion, and I dressed like more of a nerdy sports kid who could hardly be bothered to show up in anything but shorts and a t-shirt. And I wore very plain, simple dresses that I made myself, little sheaths or tunics. So, well, I could do that. I could go more girly. I could get, lace and ruffles and frills and since I made my own clothes, I could make, more girly type of clothes, more feminine clothing. So I did, and guess what? I sewed some ruffles and lace on this sheath, this tunic I had, wore it to class, and the cutest boy in school started flirting with me, and I heard him woof whistle. I almost passed out. He said, "Oh, Nancy's dolling up for us. If she's this cute now, think of what she's going to be in junior high." And I turned around and I gave him a look that would melt butter. And he and I dated years later in high school, and he said, that day when you turned around and looked at me after I whistled at you, he said he almost passed out. So ruffles, work. And I was sitting there in third grade saying, note to self, lace and ruffles work on guys. And worked for me. And So then it went into more, ethereal things. She was very friendly. She was outgoing. She was exuberant. She was ebullient. And I thought, well, I'm a friendly person and I'm known for my compassion. I'm known for my nurturance. But I could be more upbeat. I could be more optimistic. I could be more outgoing. I could be more friendly. I couldn't be more loving. I couldn't be more nurturing. I couldn't be more compassionate because my third grade teacher had already told me that out of all the people she'd ever met in her entire life, I was the single most compassionate person she'd ever known. So I didn't think I'd get much further to perfection in that regard. But so I started being, a bit more outgoing, more friendly. And then it got to things like one of the most important things that I learned from that high school girl was that she had one of the best relationships I'd ever seen. And yes, it was the case at 8, but it was also the case still. And I've still hardly ever known anyone, any two people who were in a relationship as beautiful as the one she had with her high school boyfriend. And she had that when she was only 16. Think of the maturity and wisdom that those two people had to achieve to have such an extraordinary relationship. And I thought, what's the essence of it? They weren't competing with each other. They weren't just together, to prove how popular or successful or how cute they were. They weren't there merely because of sexual attraction. They were there because they were best friends. Yes, I knew a 16-year-old girl and her 16-year-old boyfriend who were in a relationship because they genuinely loved each other and genuinely were each other's biggest fan. She was a cheerleader. He was a high school varsity football captain, but they were both each other's biggest cheerleader in the world. They were such good friends, and that really spoke well to me as an 8-year-old because I thought I can do that. I can have relationships with people who not because of sexual attraction or because it would make me more popular to be with that guy. I can choose relationships on the basis of real friendship and agapic love. So it went on. And you could imagine, now I've given you sort of a tool that you can use. Get a piece of paper, make a list. If you find yourself being jealous, what are the qualities of the person you're jealous of? How can you have more of those qualities yourself? And I may have just helped you get on a path of real wisdom. This is Nancy Love. More later.